Hello, welcome to our talk about increasing safety for children and adults with ASD. My name is Selena Miller, and I'm the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Coordinator for Milestones Autism Resources.
And I'm Beth Thompson, Program Director for Milestones. In this video, Selena and I will be going over our top 5 tips and tools for keeping your loved one with ASD safe.
Many families have reached out to Milestones expressing concern over safety issues for their children or loved one with autism. Whether it's interacting with police or ensuring your child doesn't elope from your home, parents and caregivers need resources to keep their loved ones safe. If you have questions about any of the resources shared today, please call us at 216-464-7600. Now let's get started with our tip countdown.
Our first tip for keeping individuals with ASD safe is to register any vehicle that your loved one regularly rides in or drives with the Ohio Bureau of Motor Vehicles. Any individual with a medically diagnosed communication disability, like autism, can voluntarily enroll in the database that connects to the Law Enforcement Agency's data system, also called LEADS. Law enforcement officers can then be made aware that the driver or person in the vehicle might have difficulty communicating, and then they can approach the vehicle without awareness, potentially reducing misunderstandings. Complete this application and mail it in to ensure your vehicle is tagged in the LEADS system.
Our number 4 tip is to create an emergency or natural disaster plan for your loved one with the important players in their life. If your loved one is an adult who receives daily support, include their direct service provider when creating a plan in the event of a natural emergency, such as a fire, flood, or pandemic. COVID-19 has raised new concerns for families. Work with your IEP team, private providers, or other supports to come up with a what-if plan. This might include a plan to get prescribed medication for 30 days or designate a safe place to go if your home isn't safe. Here's an example of a checklist when creating an emergency plan for your individual with disabilities.
Our next tip depends on what community you live in, but should apply to all neighborhoods. Some police precincts have formal programs to register individuals with special needs who reside in their community. Call your police department and ask if they have any identification programs for vulnerable residents, such as children with ASD. If they do, take the time to go down to the precinct and, if possible, with your child and register them. If they don't have a formal way to register, ask if you can bring your child to meet with a police officer and tour the station. This might make them more comfortable in the future should a police officer approach them. Find ways to educate your child about how to act if approached by a police officer, and make opportunities to teach law enforcement about your child and about autism. Here is a guidebook from the National Autism Association about introducing children and adults with ASD to the police.
Our number 2 tip is to create an autism identification card or other method of visually identifying your loved one on the spectrum. This might look like a state ID or an identification shoe tag or bracelet. For a teen or adult with ASD who drives independently, having an ID card that they can hand to the police officer with their driver's license is a non-stigmatizing way to let police know the driver has a communication impairment. If your loved one needs support in the community, having a tag on their shoe or piece of clothing or bracelet lets police know they need assistance, even when the individual cannot express themselves. Here are examples of ways to help your loved one be easily identified as someone with autism.
And our number 1 tip is to order the Big Red Safety Box from the National Autism Association today. This is a free of charge toolkit given to autism families as a means to educate, raise awareness, and provide simple tools that can assist them in preventing and responding to wandering-related emergencies. NAA's Big Red Safety Box includes identification materials like a bracelet or shoe ID, like Selena suggested, helpful documents for emergency planning, wandering prevention tools including door and window alarms, visuals for your home, and much, much more. This is one of the best resources for parents, and we encourage you to log on and order one today.
We hope these tips are helpful and encourage you to take the steps to keep your loved one with ASD safe. Remember, Milestones is your first call for help at any age or stage. Thank you for joining us.
Stay safe.